My wife almost never turns off the lights or the television when she goes to bed. I'm usually awake longer than she is, so I just turn them off. Nothing marriage breaking, just something I've become accustomed to doing. Story 1. Lock the doors before bed. This is very concerning because I work 24-hour shifts and am not there to lock up every time. Could be that she forgets when I'm gone, which I don't think is the case. This means when I'm home, she thinks, forget it. He can lock the doors, I'm going to bed. Story 2. Whenever she visits her parents' house, she will help prepare and cook. She will later complain to me that their knives are garbage and wants to buy them a new set. Little does she know that her parents never sharpen their knives, and I sharpen ours every week. Story 3. Put dishes in the empty dishwasher. She has this habit of stacking things next to the sink instead of taking that simple next step. The weird thing is that she is so organized and hates clutter, but this never bothers her. Oh, and I will tell you about my neighbor's wife. Lock your car. She constantly leaves doors open and never locks anything, and they've had things stolen from their car 5 times in the last 6 months, so thieves know to come through the neighborhood, and it affects all of us. We've talked to her about it, and she claims we are judging her and are just a neighborhood full of unfriendly people. Her husband gave up years ago and doesn't engage at all. Story 4. Plugging in her devices before we go to bed. She is terrible at charging her phone, tablet, and laptop overnight. I always walk through and make sure they are plugged in and ready for her in the morning when we wake up. Story 5. Picking up after herself. It usually involves leaving her makeup all over the place, not cleaning the stove after making a particularly messy meal, or leaving her clothing piled on top of her dresser for weeks on end. And they say guys are the messy ones. Story 6. She never turns off the light before going to bed, even though she's always lighting many lights that I never touch. She also leaves coffee cups all over the house and puts the coffee filter in the sink, leaving it there until the next time she wants to make coffee. I definitely think, forget it, I'll just do it myself. But I also get frustrated. Story 7. I'm in the same boat as far as staying up later than my girlfriend. I always turn off the lights and blow out the candles we have going despite who lit them. The other night I was pretty tired and went to bed before her. I wondered while dozing off if my girlfriend would blow out the candles that she lit. I woke up to use the bathroom that night, and they were still burning. Story 8. Fortunately, there are only a few small things, but they include not closing certain drawers that are at ball height, not lowering her makeup mirror so it does not blind me in the morning, and not putting away a few clean dishes we left to dry on the counter. I cannot really complain, and it is not worth fighting over. Story 9. My wife knows my Reddit username. She does everything perfectly. She is beautiful and no one works harder than her. Truly the perfect woman in every way. I am the luckiest man in the world. I am nothing without her. Okay, I think that's enough to get her to skip this. She will not take the garbage out. Ever. Not to the pail. Not to the curb. Will not take the can back in. Outright refuses to deal with garbage or recycling ever. Story 10. She short shifts first gear every time. It's a meaningless pet peeve of mine and has no real consequence other than annoying me. I offer to drive almost every time because it literally grinds my gears so much. She never turns off the stereo receiver, the television, or the lights in any given room when she leaves it. But she will tell me I'm being horrible when I let my car warm up for a few minutes on a cold morning. Story 11. Definitely driving. Love my wife, but when we are out driving, I prefer to be behind the wheel. She sits up and clearly does not look relaxed. She's stressing every action, which in turn stresses me out and defeats the purpose of allowing me the opportunity to not think about driving because all I can do is stay hyper alert for her. Granted, we live in New York City, so it's not like I blame her for that at all. But when we are on long trips and it's mostly highway, she's good. Story 12. I call it blanket duty. My girl is one of those people who changes positions in her sleep every 5 minutes. This typically means she kicks and moves the blankets into huge lumps around the bed that can end up making my back sore, so I have to casually wake up sometimes in the middle of the night to recover us. More importantly, I make sure she's snug and warm. I love her. Story 13. My roommate is terrible at using knives for chopping. I almost want to take the knife from him and do it myself whenever he does. But he has to learn on his own. Story 14. You know what? I've been racking my brains wondering what I could contribute, and I'm coming up with absolutely nothing. My wife does everything perfectly. Maybe I'm the one that makes her say, "Forget it. I'll just do it myself." Story 15. I love my husband's cooking, but he always gets the kitchen messy when he cooks. I am the type that cleans while I am cooking, so I would rather cook sometimes myself. However, I really don't mind too much as I enjoy cleaning anyway, and his food is delicious. Edit. I used to be married to a drug addict who just slept all day, so I really appreciate someone who just does things. Is better than the opposite, laughing out loud. Story 16. Dan Savage called these petty things the price of admission. What it costs to ride that ride. I don't put away shoes or seat clutter until it's a real obstacle. My husband leaves food containers open and loads a dishwasher like a maniac. He puts away shoes and clutter. I put away food and load the dishwasher. Every time we fix what the other doesn't do, we look at each other, sigh, and say, "You're really good looking and I love you." Story 17. My wife and I have been happily married for almost 27 years, and when people ask about the secret to our success, I tell them without hesitation that Rule 1, established after our first argument, is the key to all of it. If you are picky about how something gets done, do it yourself. Story 18. Well, her first instinct when her laptop has any problem is to start banging the mouse on her desk, and 15 seconds later, the whole laptop. I try to intervene in less than 14 seconds. Story 19. When my girlfriend makes coffee in the morning, she never puts away the cream. I drink mine black, so it's her responsibility to put it away. But I do it so it doesn't sit out until she gets back from work. Story 20. Immediately wash and dry the kitchen knives. I've had a set of Westhoff knives that I've been taking care of since college, so I immediately wash and dry them when I'm done cooking. On the few occasions that my wife has used them, she'll cut raw chicken, leave the knife in the sink until bedtime, fill the sink with soap and water overnight, wash them the following morning, and leave it out to air dry. I'm about ready to buy a cheap set for the knife block and keep the good ones hidden away in a knife roll. Story 21. Take the garbage out. Clean the dishes. Feed the dog. Walk the dog. Do the laundry. Cook dinner. To be fair, I was recently laid off, so I can't complain about any of the tasks. Story 22. She does not. Clean, rarely. Cook, even more rarely. Wipe off countertops or any surfaces, close drawers, cupboards, or doors. Hang up her jacket, just dumps it on the floor. Put away laundry within 7 days of washing it, just leaves it hanging over kitchen chairs. Make the 4 kids lunches or be concerned about anyone else having a lunch but herself. Ask me about my day, or even just how's it going, once in a while. Clean bathrooms, shovel snow, or cut grass. Show me any affection or attention unless she needs something from me. Story 23. Happy to wash up but not put away once dried. Happy to fill the dishwasher and start it but not empty it, then just pile the plates in the sink. She also fills it without any organization, with small and big plates side by side, and sometimes it looks like she threw them in from a distance, bowls on the bottom, blocking the jets of water from hitting the top section. Leaves the washing machine door closed after a wash, causing the next wash to smell of moldy, stale water. Fills the bin to the point of the bag breaking because it's assumed to be a man's job to empty it, then is surprised when liquid dribbles over the floor when I empty it. Story 24. My marriage is built on both of us repeatedly saying, "Screw it, I'll just do it myself," without getting too worked up about it. We cover for each other's failures a lot. Story 25. Use the last of anything or eat the last bite of anything. It's a super weird habit, but I've gotten to the point I just reach over for the last bite, combine the 4 nearly empty chip bags, and scoop the rest of the mayonnaise into the new jar. He accepts my quirks, so I'll accept his. Story 26. Mine leaves on lamps for ambience, like all day every day, because she doesn't like to go to the 5 lamps we have and turn them off individually. I went on Amazon and bought Wi-Fi outlets that work with my Amazon Alexa, and now I can turn them all off at once via voice from across the room. They will probably take years to pay off compared to the electricity they save, but I no longer have to deal with the flicker of rage that ensued from me seeing them left on all the time. Story 27. Oh geez. I'll be single if she sees this. She leaves the swinging glass shower door open, which rests against the toilet bowl. I run into it if I get up to pee. She has braces, so she uses a water flosser, which makes it look like it's rained inside the bathroom after she's finished, and she never cleans up. She is a small woman, and her bottom doesn't go far enough back toward the cistern on the toilet, so when she goes to the bathroom, none of it goes in the water, always on the bowl, leaving skid marks every day. She doesn't believe in a courtesy flush or the exhaust fan. She doesn't turn the lights off or push chairs in. Story 28. My wife does not break down cardboard boxes before putting them in the recyclables bin. Granola bar boxes. No. Pasta boxes? Not at all. Small Amazon delivery boxes? Nope. No way. Our recycling bin will appear 90% full, but it is really just filled with a variety of empty cardboard cubes wasting space. I used to ask her to do it, but her excuse is that she is too busy. Too busy to do something that takes seconds. Story 29. She puts the bag in the trash can in a way that if you throw anything in that weighs more than an ounce, the bag falls in every single time. So when I see it, I sigh and fix it. We've had discussions about this, and she doesn't see the point in doing it my way. Story 30. Do the dishes, cook when home more often, change the baby's diaper if I ask, and put his dirty socks, boxers, dust, and work clothes in one designated location. I stopped moving his dirty laundry. Take the garbage out and barely takes the dog out. What he does do, loves us unconditionally, wakes up at 4 a.m. every day for work, and gets home after 7 p.m. makes me laugh most of the time. Story 31. This is more of an endearing thing that I always make fun of my husband for, but when we need to ask someone for help, he always has to start out with a story. So, say for example we run out of bananas and need to find more, we will go to someone to ask where they are and he'll go, "Hey sir or ma'am, sorry to bother you, but you see my wife and I really love to make smoothies with bananas and we ran out this morning, even though I wasn't planning on using the last one and and this is usually where I have to cut in and go, we're looking for bananas. Do you know where they are?" It's nothing that ever annoys me or bothers me. I just find it hilarious. Story 32. Closing cabinet doors in the kitchen. Funny thing is, her sister and husband were visiting our place for the first time years ago. My brother-in-law and I are both foodie types, so we enjoy cooking together. We were cooking in my kitchen. Sister-in-law walks in, gets a glass from the cabinet and walks out leaving the door open. I gasped and yelled, "She does that too?" He goes, "All the time." Me, "Oh no, it's genetic." Fast forward a few months and my wife's other sister is visiting and does the same thing. Haha. Story 33. When he attempts to cook, God bless him, that man is an absolute gem and a saint. But he shouldn't be allowed near a kitchen. Once, he made ramen with ranch dressing and egg and a side of chicken nugget salad. I make him do laundry or take out the trash, but he is not allowed in the kitchen. I can't have him wasting perfectly good food, and I actually really like cooking and will be like Gordon Ramsay to him. Story 34. Every single thing. No cooking, cleaning, laundry, or trash. Oh, and let me elaborate on the trash. Our trash can is inside the cabinet. My husband will put his trash on top of the counter where the trash can lives underneath. He's my monster, so I guess I'll keep him. Edit. Well, forget me. This is Ask Men, not Ask Reddit. I'm disqualified. It's all still true, though. Story 35. Make dinner even if I get home way later than him. I've realized we have completely different ideas of what dinner means. Cookies are not dinner. Neither are Nutri-Grain bars. Story 36. Doing the dishes properly. Once a week, I taste soap in the food because it wasn't rinsed off the plate. Half of the dishes still have oils or even food bits on them. Even when using the dishwasher, she cannot load it correctly, so instead of clean plates, you get food bits baked solid onto the bowl. Worst of all, she either doesn't even notice the problem or doesn't care. Story 37. Pick up dog poop in the backyard. She is a smoker, so she goes outside with the dog, but if the dog does her business, she does not clean it up while she is out there. Instead, I have to go outside and do it myself. Otherwise, our backyard will turn into a pile of poop. Story 38. Put away dishes before we go to bed. I'm a clean up before bed guy. She's a clean up after breakfast girl. Luckily for her, I don't mind cleaning up. Story 39. It's a concept I call returning to its home. A lot of people carry something to point of for use, but when it comes to picking it up and returning it to its final spot, they just go right back to grab a new thing and take it to its point A. An example is when you're thirsty, you get a glass of water, set it on the coffee table, watch a movie, drink the water, then get up and go to bed. That glass of water isn't going to make its way to the kitchen on its own. Well, most of my pre-nap time is taking things to their B destinations. Story 40. My ex would fail to throw away empty food containers. She would just put them back where she found them. So, a refrigerator full of plastics and shelves with empty boxes. Story 41. He has bad allergies and needs to blow his nose very often. Then, those stacks of tissues aren't thrown out but collected on every table in the house. I would tell him it's not sanitary, but he'll say, "Oh, I forgot." On his way out of the bathroom, the lights are always left on. "Oh, I forgot." An empty cup that needs to be tossed? He leaves it on a table or sometimes next to the trash. "Oh, I forgot." Empty shampoo bottles or anything that's used up in the bathroom are never tossed for days until I get fed up and do it. Facial hair trimmings get left in the sink and not rinsed. The day I kill him and they ask if I did it, I'll tell the police, "Oh, I forgot."